G'day there guys, it's your Aussie Hubby Markee, back at it again with another r/entitled parent story. Now if you love me as much as I love you, then you know what to do. I want you to mosey on over to that old like button and tackle it like Crocodile Dundee. Maybe even chuck an Aussie flag down in the comments. Now with that out of the way, I want you to sit back, relax, chug a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some bloody Karens. Now our first story is by user XIronis, titled, Entitled parents try to follow me on a flight and demand to speak to your manager. Backstory. This happened a few years ago. My parents are the epitome of what makes an entitled parent, and have got plenty of stories about their antics. To sum it up quickly, I had decided at 18 years old to run away from them and live overseas, where I am today and I'm quite happy. This was the biggest decision of my life, and I was nervous as heck. They had done terrible stuff since my childhood, and I needed to get away for my own safety and well-being. I planned the flight about 2 weeks before the date, and my parents the whole time didn't think I'd go through with it. To be fair, they only thought I was going on vacation and for a short bit. Came the day, and after me calling an Uber to take me to the airport, they caved to save face and took me themselves. I checked in and did all that good stuff before I had to go through security. I waved them off and began to walk forward, until the following goes down. S is security guard, EM and DD are self-explanatory. Security's like, excuse me, where's your boarding pass? I only see one here. He points at my boarding pass. Oh, don't worry, we're just gonna take our daughter to the gate. No, I'm afraid you can't go past this point without a boarding pass. What? But she's our daughter. You can't tell me what I can and can't do with my own daughter. The security guy sighs and looks at a little flustered me up and down. I have a baby face and have always looked much younger than I really am. Alright, how old is she? Well, I'm 18, sir. She glares at me. Shh! Well, she's an adult and does not require accompaniment from her parents. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. But she does! She's not mentally 18. She's mentally regressed and has issues. I'm shocked and embarrassed. I had depression brought on by diagnosed PTSD. Those were my issues. Yet she worded it to make it sound like I was intellectually disabled. What? She's mentally a child. She still likes Chinese cartoons, referring to anime and manga. Security's like, I don't see how that applies here. She seems capable enough. Do you feel like you can go through on your own? Yeah, I'm okay. Ugh, liar. And she begins stomping her foot in frustration like a toddler. Just let me through right now with my daughter. Yeah, and me. Security guard sighs, calling another security officer over. Security 2 is like, what seems to be the problem, security? Entitled mother cutting them both off. This jerk won't let me go through to the gate to me with my daughter who is mentally slur. Nice. The real story, please. Security guard explains the deal, and the entitled parents are fuming. They can tell by the looks on their faces, and they're not going to get their way. Finally, entitled mother yells out the famously awaited Karen line. I know my rights. I demand to speak to your manager. So another person comes over, and the three of them are talking quietly together. Me, I say, Mum, Dad, this is going too far. I'm going to miss my flight if this keeps going. And whose fault is that? You should have booked a later flight. My flight is at 11 at night. Not my problem. If you miss your flight, that's on you. Finally, they stop talking and approach us. Supervisor's like, hi, I think we can make a compromise. I'm not supposed to do this, but I will allow one of you through with her to have a meal or just sit with her for a bit. I could really get in trouble doing this, but I know how far she's going and I know it'll be hard. Entitled mother reads her title name on her name tag, and she said, I asked for a manager. Man, age, R. This is pathetic. Your proposal is also pathetic. How are you going to break up a nice family like that? Mum, I really will be fine. I'll catch up with you next time, okay? I understand where you're coming from, but OP seems more than capable and is an adult. I am breaking the rules by letting even one of you go through without a ticket, but it is my offer. No. This is ridiculous. By now, entitled mother is stamping around and waving her arms around. She gets up close to the two security guards, who kinda eye her, and she immediately backs away, but doesn't stop stamping. Security says, Ma'am, I'm afraid if you don't stop, I'm going to have to escort all of you away. Me, realizing that he means me too, I quietly mutter an "oh crap" under my breath, and I begin to panic a bit. Fine, we'll just take our daughter home then. She takes my arm, but I quickly pull away. Stop! How dare you? Apologize to your mother! The supervisor looks at me and says, would you like a parent to go with you? No, not really. And both parents are like, what? Supervisor's like, okay, please come along then. No, I demand you let us on her flight with all the problems you've caused. Yeah, and make it first class or any upgrades. You didn't get the manager, you got a supervisor. You lied to me. Manager! Manager! The supervisor, ignoring, and turns to me. May I double check your ticket? Yeah, of course. And I show her my ticket. Perfect. 1 boarding pass for 1 person. Step this way and enjoy your flight. Thank you. Entitled mother grabs my arm and's like, no! Okay, one of us will go through. Opie, you like Wendy's, right? Let's get Wendy's through here. I remove my arm, and I'm like, no thank you. I grab my suitcase and I walk through security. The entitled parents try to follow me and are immediately stopped. Entitled dad says, this is not the service we pay for. We should be allowed a ticket on the flight for this. Wendy's, Opie, Wendy's, come on, Wendy's, Wendy's! I don't look back and now am further away. I can no longer hear them over the line of people that I am in. I got my flight just fine and arrived in one piece. I cut contact with both of them. Legend has it, Entitled Mother is still screaming Wendy's to this day. And our next story was by user Lixis98, titled, Entitled Mother Demands to Do an Appointment for a Non-Emergency in the Middle of the Pandemic. This was written by my girlfriend. She doesn't have enough karma to post here, but she wanted to share the story anyway. Hi, I am sorry in advance for any mistakes. English is not my first language. I also tried to remember as much as I could of the conversation that I had with the Karen, so it is not perfect, lol. This is also my first post ever. So I work as an answering service for a few dental offices in the US. I live in Colombia. And because of Miss Rona, I had to start working from home just answering calls. The current office I am working for is closed. We are just taking calls and referring them to another place. Note that this branch is in New York, and because of that, dentists can only see emergencies. But Miss Entitled Mother apparently didn't know that. Here's how the conversation went. I say, ring ring, thank you for calling, how can I help you? Hi, I want my son to get a cleaning as he's not going to school. Can we go now? Let me ask you, is your son in need of an emergency consultation? I don't know, you tell me. He only needs a cleaning. I'm sorry ma'am, we are not open. We are just taking calls for the service. I can refer you to someone else, but they won't see you if it is not an emergency. What do you mean? It's just a cleaning. Can't you guys open for him shortly? No ma'am, as I told you, we can only see emergencies. If you want, I can write down your information and we can call you back to schedule as soon as we have availability. But as for now, I suggest you to stay inside your house. So, she went nuts with that last bit. Excuse me? Who are you to tell me I should stay in my house? My son is in perfect health. He is not sick. What do you mean you can't open for a simple cleaning? We can see your son if he is in pain, or if he has a broken tooth, etc., you know? Otherwise it is better to wait until the quarantine is over. How unprofessional and rude. I am willing to pay cash right now. It is just a cleaning, and you can't do that one thing for a child? No ma'am, it seems we are not going to be able to help you. Yeah, you bet. Then I suggest you go to another office. Thank you very much for calling. Have a great day. Entitled Mother says, and I am not recommending this place to anyone, lady. I actually never thought that someone like that could possibly exist, but I had a few laughs thanks to her. For anyone who might be reading this, stay in your house. You can save others by doing nothing. When are y'all going to get a chance like this again? Just some quarantine hacks. There is a feature in Google Chrome that allows you to see Netflix with anyone remotely called Chromecast. So you can have the marathon of your life with your buddies. Sounds lit to me. And our next post is by user Flooves. You wait right here while I call my husband, you softy nerd. That's obviously not the word that it was going for, I've censored that. So, I was in the parking lot at a super Target, and while passing the front entrance where the crosswalks are, I slowed down to accommodate this one lady passing. And we have all seen this. She gives me that death glare like I was trying to run over her, and her derpy ass kid. Sorry, I just hate the lady. Even though I was literally just driving and going about my business, like, bruh. I park and I'm getting ready to get out, until I noticed that this dummy parked her cart behind my car and came out to my window. I ignored her and looked at my phone for a few moments, hoping she would just understand that I am not going to participate in the bullcrap. She starts obnoxiously knocking like I don't see her and saying, "Hello? Hello? Hello?" Like she's Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. Now, I was driving a Firebird and the engine made a lot of noise. When I finally lowered my window a little bit, I got the understanding that she believes driving a muscle car immediately makes me a douchebag who runs down innocent people. She says the most off-the-wall bullcrap, like, really? Driving like that to try and threaten me, then acting like a fudging pussy when I call you on it? Like, no beer, actually just entering a damn parking lot. Finally, she lets me know that I'm not going anywhere and calls her husband, all the while ignoring anything I say and telling me that I can talk to her husband when he gets here. He was promised to beat my nerdy ass. My final resolution was to gently back out and push the cart with my vehicle. It capsized and she patted my car in protest, screaming expletives. But I got the frick out of there. Looped around again to pass her and she was shaking her head with her arms crossed on the phone lol. I smiled at her and she mocked me with that roasted kid face. Irony is that her kids were in a vehicle unattended in a parking lot during this whole fiasco. What a lovely parent. Round of applause for parents like that. Our next post is by user Knight Taylor, titled, "Entitled Mother Threatens to Get Me Expelled from School." Okay, so this is my first credit post. Finally got enough karma. And boy, this is a crazy one. I've had a lot of encounters with entitled parents, but this is probably the worst. So basically, one day while I was riding the bus home from a meeting with my friends, cue entitled mother and entitled dad. So the bus was full and there was no room except by me. Naturally, I scooted over to make room for them. They sat down without a word of thanks or a word of regard. Since the ride home was boring, so I put my earbuds in and started listening to music. It was all good until I felt the cold, weird feeling and something on my arm. I immediately snapped around and saw the entitled daughter drawing on my arm with a permanent marker. "Excuse me," I asked politely. "Could you not draw on my arm?" The girl ignored me and continued, Excuse me." Then the mum heard me and stood up. Mind me, the bus was still moving. "Why are you screaming at my child, you little bitch?" I looked at her. "Ma'am, I wasn't screaming at her, she drew on my arm." She gave me a death glare. "How dare you, you little piece of crap." Then, the angel sitting in front of me got up and looked at the Karen. She was an old woman, about 60 to 70-ish. "I don't think you should be openly cussing in front of your child." Instead of listening, the Karen slapped the poor old lady. "Don't teach me how to parent, you old bitch." By then, the bus driver came up. Then the Karen looked at me again. "I will get you expelled, you little crap. You will never go to a good school and you will rot on the streets." The old woman had her hands over her cheeks. I saw a red mark. Then the bus driver spoke up. "Ma'am, I shall not you harassing my passengers. I will have to escort you off the bus." The Karen, he proceeds to cuss at everyone. The whole bus was looking at her with a disgusted look on their faces. The kid was so afraid. I felt bad for her having such a horrid mother. The entitled mother grabbed her child's arm and stomped off the bus. "I'm sorry," the kid called before disappearing. I asked the old lady if she was alright. Apparently, she taught in my school district and was a teacher. Oof, Karen, you can't get me expelled. I hope you guys enjoyed that one because we're on to the next one by Conno Tron. "You shot my son. It's Airsoft." It's no for nothing. Backstory. My friend and I do Airsoft in our home country of Ireland, and are decently equipped. Weapons, armor, strategy, etc. For those that don't know, Airsoft is similar to paintball, except instead of being hit with paint, you get hit with plastic pellets, or BBs. This story happened when my friend and his dad were airsofting. The characters are friend, dad, entitled mum, and kid. So it was early July 2019, and my friend and his dad went to their airsoft field. When they got set up, my friend says the entitled mother and her kid walk in. The kid was apparently 9, so he was able to hold a rifle properly. The boy came over with a rental carbine rifle and asked my friend if he would help him with the weapon's properties. My friend agreed and taught him the basics, such as how to hold the gun and how to put on the safety, and so on. The day sounded like a lot of fun, and both friend and kid enjoyed themselves. At one point, they were both in a building on opposite teams, and my friend shot the kid. The kid stopped shooting and walked back to his respawn. My friend was able to continue until he heard the roar of an entitled mother. The conversation went like this: "OMFG, you just shot my son." "So what? Those are the rules of the game." "But you hurt him." "A BB only hurts for a few seconds." D walks in and says, "What's going on here?" "This boy just shot my son." "If that's the problem, then why did you come airsofting?" "My son is traumatized for life and will need compensation. Give me your gear at once so I can sell it to make a profit." My friend decided to walk away, but then the entitled mother put her gun on full auto and put her full magazine into his back at point blank. Long story short, my friend is in pain, as it only hurts for a few seconds when shot once at 5 meters away, not 2 inches away with about 300 BBs hitting you everywhere. My friend fell to the floor and tried to crawl away. The entitled mother had the rifle taken off her and was forced to pay a €50 cover for damage to his armor. She screamed, stating that the boy had shot himself. She was paid, and then was forced off the property while the kid played until his father picked him up. He apologized for everything and ever paid for their membership for that next month. My friend still plays Airsoft and still meets the kid when he plays with his father. The end. Thanks for reading. Ah yes, another real story that really happened. In the heart and rolling green beautiful hills of Ireland, the Karen shoots down another prey. I'm not even safe in this country, boys. And our next story. Thev's art and stuff. A not so merry Karen Christmas. This happened, was I 8 or 9, so I can't ensure all exact details of what happened. However, this is how I remember most of it. There's a really nice restaurant in my city about 15 minutes away from where I live. They serve shrimp gumbo, rib salads of like 50 kinds, shrimp, and yeah, stuff from like Forrest Gump. Naturally, if you want to go to a restaurant for Christmas, you'd pick this one. My dad knew the place was going to be packed full by a normal dinner hour, and we would have had to wait outside in the cold. My family consists of me, my sister, my mum, and my dad, so we would just naturally get a booth. We get there at almost 6 o'clock. Shocker, the restaurant's almost already full. Our wait is 10 minutes, and we get seated pretty quickly. One more thing I should mention, my sister's dress. My older sister has loved wearing nice dresses as long as I can remember. She was 10 or 11 at the time. Okay, so the night is going great. We're half an hour in, and had ordered our food. The food takes a while there, when Karen and her 3 kids come in. 2 of them looked younger than me, and 1 looked about my sister's age. We were sitting relatively close to the entrance, so we were probably one of the first tables Karen saw that would fit all 3 of her kids. I was an oblivious child drawing on one of those color-in food maps. My sister was playing a game on her phone, and my parents were casually talking. Because I was so focused on a stupid blue crayon, I guess I didn't see Karen arguing with an employee about the wait time. Apparently, the wait had gone from 10 to 40 minutes in the time that we were there. The poor waitress was likely trying her best to please Karen. What she says next is what I do remember. "Well, if you won't wait for a table, you'll just leave." "I'm not waiting that long." Karen spotted me and my family out of the corner of her eye. She walks up and the following happens there. Side note, a child my age wouldn't know what a swear word is, so I'll improvise with what she said a little bit by replacing any swear words with the word bleep. "Excuse me, but can you please get up from your table? My kids and I aren't going to wait a long time for one." "No, we've already ordered. If you want a table, you should wait like everyone else." Karen, with a raised voice, "No, me and my kids aren't going to wait that long. You beeps get up from your lazy beeps now." 2 employees at this point have seen the ruckus. One went to get help, and the other one, from the waiting area, tried calming her down again by throwing a boomerang at her bloody head. The employee, my dad, and Karen continue to argue for a while. I'm just sitting and staring at the poor kid that she just left in the waiting section of the restaurant. Manager comes out to also try to calm her down, but Karen is livid. She starts going on about her kids that aren't waiting for 40 minutes for a beeping table. My mum is mortified of her colourful language and starts telling her that I don't know those words yet and shouldn't need to. I don't give a beep about what your stupid kid does and doesn't know. At this point, several people had started to stare and look at the little scene that Karen was making. My sister pounds on the table, bravely for a 10-year-old, and says, "Don't you ever say that about my sister again, you jerk." Karen looks like she's about ready to explode. She's pretty much does by taking my mum's soda and splashing it all over my sister. Now there's a crying, sticky, wet 10-year-old at this table. Karen is forced to either wait, leave, or get banned for life. I think the only reason she waited is because she didn't want to have 3 hungry kids and no Christmas dinner. The manager says he's more sorry than he's ever been to a customer, and gives us all of our meals on the house, and Karen will have to pay extra for my mum's drink. My sister also got a free dessert for her ruined dress. I could never understand at such a young age how any human being could be so horrible. I started to understand in middle school. Edit, for everybody saying that what Karen did was assaulting a minor, I agree. The restaurant, I guess, has also been known to be a little too nice, or maybe just in Christmas spirits, or whatever, to call the police to a busy restaurant. I also agree that they shouldn't have given her the option to stay at the restaurant. One more thing I'd like to add is how well her kids behaved compared to her. They actually were pretty quiet and didn't disturb anybody for waiting for their tables. Impressive for kids their age. And our next post is by AstroCat27, titled, "Entitled Mum is Super Hypocritical on a Train." So I get the train every day to school with some of my friends. In the part of England where I live, the train company put up these stickers everywhere saying that this area is a quiet zone. And I mean everywhere, on the windows, seats, tables, etc. So anyway, me and my friends are sitting on a table, not making that much noise. We're not silent by any means, but not disruptive, just talking and playing games on our phones. We sit there talking for about 5 minutes before this woman with a young kid, about 4 or 5 years old, says to us that in that kind of whiny voice, "Excuse me, this is a quiet zone. Could you please stop being so noisy?" My friend and I just kinda accept it because we don't want to start an argument, but we're pretty ticked off at her. So we sit there in pretty much silence for a few minutes, but then her kid asks her for a packet of crisps or something. She says no, and this kid obviously inherited his mother's entitlement, because he has a fudging meltdown. While he's there kicking and screaming, I just say to her in the calmest voice that I can, "Excuse me, could you control your kid? This is a quiet zone." I didn't say it condescendingly, more as a kind of joke. But then this woman goes full Karen, "Excuse me? I am a mother, and you are just a bunch of teenagers. My kid is allowed to be noisy. He's only 5. I know it's not as crazy as a lot of the stories on here, but my friends and I just thought it was pretty hypocritical. And I do too, what a beer. Anyway, our next story is by user Hannah113. Dad wants to teach daughter to swim at a public pool with no lifeguards around. So with everything that's been going on, now I have a lot of free time on my hands, and this story just came back to me from my lifeguard days, so I thought y'all here would enjoy a story. I'm on mobile, so sorry for any typos. So a few years back, I worked as head lifeguard at a public pool in my area. This is a small town. Everyone knows each other here, so they get away with a lot of crap. I, however, am from the larger town like 20 minutes away, was actually trained and very serious about my job. The pool had an hour before each opening, which we called Adult Swim, where adults could pay $1 and swim at a nearby empty pool. Me or my manager would open the pool during this hour, so restocking things, cleaning bathrooms, taking out trash, updating schedules. Most of this meant there was no lifeguard on deck, which is why it was crucial that there was no children allowed at Adult Swim. So one morning, I'm in one of the bathrooms finishing up, and I come out to a dad putting his swim fins on a girl no older than 10. I immediately go over and try to explain that due to our policy, children cannot swim during Adult Swim, as there is no lifeguard on deck. I get a few excuses, he can watch her, she's a good swimmer, blah blah blah. But I hold my ground. I'm in charge here and I need to do my job. She'll have to wait until there is a lifeguard on duty. He says she wants to practice swimming without a bunch of people around, and I say again it's against policy. It's a huge liability for the pool and the town that owned it, not to mention myself as the only one trained that was there at the time. He then says that I should stay there and watch her. At this point, I'm halfway through my morning duties. If they don't get done by the time I'm opened, I'm screwed. So I call my manager, who races down from her other job to watch the dad and girl play in the pool. The manager was one of the small town people and really didn't like guards from out of town. I was passed up for shifts after this because she knew the family from the school district she worked in, and how could I not trust them, or drop everything to hop on a chair? Even though I would have been punished for not finishing opening duties. Thankfully, these people never came back on my opening shifts. Alright, screw those people. Now our next story is by user RaziPrince04. Entitled Mother Fights for Daughter's Creepy Love for Me. So this happened when I was 7. My auntie decided to take me and my brother to the swimming pool. In the parking lot, I saw a girl, probably 5 years old at the time, staring at me in awe. I tried to make as little eyesight as possible. Little did I know what was going to happen. So I am in the pool, having a good time, and Entitled Mother swims to me with the girl. Entitled Mother says, "Hello, handsome little boy. Hey, what's up? My little Rebecca is in love with you and wants to hang out with you." I, who probably had a square brain at the time, said, "No, maybe some other time?" Entitled Mother just gave me a look and just swam away. But Rebecca didn't. She just stood there. The rest of the session was awkward. She followed me everywhere. If I was with my friends, she would be there. If I was with my auntie, she would be there. Fast forward to an hour later. My aunt takes me and my brother to Sainsbury's, a British shop for you Americans. I am in the bakery aisle getting a 5-pack of cookies. I turn around and Rebecca is there. I bumped into her, but she went forward to kiss me. She was successful. I was pretty brainless as a 7-year-old. I just went with the flow no matter what. So I just took the kiss. I start sweating and crying and I just ran to find my auntie. I told her we need to leave now. I told her everything that happened and we sped off to her house. I am at home with my brother, who was calming me down with strawberry milk, and we hear a family van stop right outside of her house. The exact same car Rebecca arrived in. I tell my auntie that she was outside. My auntie walks out, her and Entitled Mother talking, and it goes like this. Ma is my auntie. Entitled Mother says, "Are you the mother to that handsome boy?" I am his aunt. Can Rebecca go see him? No, she kissed him without his consent and he didn't like it. How do you know? He was crying. He was crying of joy. He never experienced love before and was glad to have someone to love. My auntie looked at Entitled Mother in the eyes for 10 seconds, then shut the door. Entitled Mother knocks on the door again. Rebecca and Entitled Mother is there. She punches my aunt in the stomach. I see all this and runs down. "Oh, there you are. Would you like to have a play date with her now?" "No, I don't. I won't leave until you say yes." Now, I am in a bit of a problem. I needed to say or do something to get rid of her. I felt so bad doing this, but I had to hit her, so I did. "Why did you do that? You're a stupid and mean and little boy, and just hurt my daughter. What do you have to say?" I am not sorry. I will warn everybody about how much of a mean rascal you are on the street. The thing is that the neighbors were watching the whole thing, so she couldn't. Moral of the story, don't stalk boys or kiss them without the consent. The end. And our last post is by ColdBro2, titled, "Entitled Mother Steal a Boogie Board from My Hotel Room." This story takes place in Florida around Panama City Beach. We were staying at a beachside resort. If you don't know what a boogie board is, it's a board that you lay on your stomach to ride on waves. The cast are Entitled Mother, Entitled Kid, me, sister, and hero girls. We had been in the hotel for 2 nights, and after we were done at the beach, we went back to our hotel room. The hotel rooms were all built so there were concrete put around the outside so you could dry your stuff. We left our boogie board out there to dry. Later we go to the pool to swim, but we notice one of the boogie boards are gone. We look for it, but fail to find it. We decided to go back to the pool to swim. At the pool, we find Hero Girl. We decide to play Truth or Dare to pass time. We did stuff like go ask someone out and kiss the floor. Then we see Entitled Mother and Entitled Kid walking by the hotel with the boogie board, and we confront them. Hey, that's ours. Why do you have it? What do you mean? I bought this for my son today. No, that's obviously a girl's board. What? No, it's not. Are you calling my son gay? Entitled Kid's like, Mum, I know you did not buy that. You never went to the store. Entitled Mum then slaps her son and drags him off to their room. The next day, everyone is in the beach again. Then we see Hero Girl running up to us with the boogie board. Hero Girl says, we know you weren't lying, so we stole the board back for you. We then thank Hero Girl. After that, we exchange phone numbers and are now good friends, and we now go on trips all the time. The end. Alright, so there's some very interesting stories today. I don't blame you if you didn't make it to the end of the video here. I'll try and find some better content for the next episodes. Hope you enjoyed this Entitled Parents episode today. Tell me what you thought of it down in the comments. As always, I love hearing what you guys have to say. And this has been Markee. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.